his posts no longer getting wider readership and sharing across, especially when he started attacking a presidential candidate in the lead up to 2023 election. So he's not a social media influencer. He's a propagandist. Now, he believed, like David Cameron, who believed that, oh, Brexit is not going to happen. So let the Brexit vote. Let's do the Brexit so that it will fail. And the people will say, didn't we tell you? So this guy believed that the Mayo would do the same and say, oh, we found someone from the most Christian state in America countering the so-called senator liar, Ted Cruz. And so there's nothing else to believe. And unfortunately, and when you start reading the letter, the he gets his background. He said he didn't ask for his flights and accommodation to be paid. It was paid anyway. And he's not speaking based on any inducement. He's just laying out the facts. And he did just that. And so here we are. Now, Ted Cruz, I consider him the most powerful senator in America. You thought of Joe Rogan podcast, but they said Ted Cruz podcast is the most downloaded podcast in the world. I think at one time they have 10 million downloads or so. He does his podcast regularly called Verdict with Ted Cruz. I'm sure he'll dedicate one of the episodes to discuss it. So if you go on Apple or other streaming platforms, you can get it there. And because of how influential he is in the government cycle, Democrats spend nearly $250 million to defeat him in the elections that returned him as Senate because they knew his influence. He has the ears of the President of America. He has the ears of the Secretary of State. He has the ears of Israel Prime Minister. He's well connected. He's heavily influential. And so he has dealt with very controversial sets of politicians and individuals, not to talk of a propagandist. And I know what they're afraid of. I sent a DM to you, Mindset, about Trump has issued a sanction on drug traffic cartel, and he targeted officials who are linked to it. He blocked, he froze their assets, and they're going to feel the economic hit. So part of what Ted Cruz is proposing is that individuals that are linked to this in any shape or form will be hit with sanctions. And I will not be surprised. They may define your form of involvement. Those who try to spin the truth, spinners of truth, like the employed propagandists, may not escape. They are very obvious out there. Give them any job, give them money, they can do to you whatever you want as far as they get a job done. So time shall tell. I will yield the mic now. Thanks.
Guys, there's a lot of things going on in my DM. So thank you very much, Dr. I did receive your report that you sent to me, so I will probably go through it sometime this evening or maybe tomorrow. But thank you very much. So guys, that's what the conversation is all about. If we have any other person who would like to contribute or you disagree with what myself, Yusuf, Captain, and Fred, please do raise your hand and we'll pass the mic to you. Or if you want to contribute, Roy, please go ahead. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you, Mindset. Yes, so you see, every dog has its day. And in the local parlance and saying, when breeze blow, chicken yash they open, they expose. I think the owner has come and the thief now has to run. We are moving away from speculation to fact. For so many years, there has been speculation some very valid about genocide. But you see, it has always been hidden behind other killings. It's a fact that there's a genocide on Christians, but it's also a fact that certain Muslim sects are also suffering similarly. That's not to say churches don't know their members that are dying, or there are no records of churches that are getting destroyed, burnt, and things like that. So that's where all of this has come from. But of course, the APC has always been smart. But it's not just the APC. But let's not go too far back. We are talking about Reno Omokri tonight that came on this his fact-finding mission. He brought a certain Mike Arnold, who was supposed to be a former Texas mayor, on this fact-finding mission. Now, the interesting thing is, mm, um, Mike Arnold has never ever been a mayor. It's not just that he's now not a mayor; he was never one. So you see, they have APC, Reno, for who he is, have always, always come out to say anything and get away with it. But Arnold has recorded evidence that Reno is working with the government to distort facts about religious violence. Yeah, they did not do any genuine investigation or fact finding mission. Well, not in the way that they were supposed to. So, what Mike Arnold has done now is to expose Reno Omokri for who he is. Apart from this particular mission, he has also touched on exposing Reno for the liar that he is. Because Reno is always used to, you know, all of this propaganda and talking with a very documented pattern of dishonesty. He pretends to be a truth teller. On his profile, you see, oh, he speaks power to power, but he only does that depending on who is in power, who has empowered him with coins, like we used to say, or whoever has signed his checks. So there's always a selective outrage. He does, you know, clean up. Look at the same Reno that was protesting in London against Tinubu. Within weeks, he was now singing songs that were praising Tinubu. He went to Chicago State University to expose Tinubu, and then all of a sudden, he wants to cover it up. He was even doing a better job than Festus Keyamo started to do to explain how Tinubu was a great man and read at night. Time and time again, Reno will insert himself into controversies. Why? Because he wants to dilute accountability. Anytime Nigerians want to require accountability, unfortunately, like one of the speakers said, Reno has or had influence as a social media figure. So he is always inserts himself to try to dilute accountability for APC, especially playing that sneaky game.
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me? Am I still audible?
Oh, sorry. I think we.
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay. Is it from my end?
Yeah, I think so, but it's audible.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
Android. You don't want us saying it, but it's there. Yeah. So you see, Reno is a very, very dangerous person. And I'm saying it here now. Reno is an enemy of Nigeria. Because when we want to, when we're demanding accountability over lives, nobody is saying this genocide is happening by any certain place. We want it to be found out. They are killing, and they are coming in the name of terrorism. Where are they getting the weapons from? This is supposed to lead to that. It is supposed to lead to who are those sponsoring it. Now the Americans have got involved. Now a very influential senator has got involved. It is now out of their control. Typically, they can pay people like Reno. Typically, they can get corrupt politicians. Typically, they can get governors to defect. They can buy people. They can even buy the families of those that are being killed. They've been doing that. So now it is totally out of their hands. We will now see true activists for who they are. We will now see true influencers for who they are. We will now see those that have been called to serve, that are truly delivering service in politics. This is going to separate the wheat from the chaff. There will be no blurry lines anymore. There won't be, because it is outside their turf. For those who have maybe heard us on Spaces, I've said it many times. The best way to deal with APC is to take it outside the shores of Nigeria. They don't have control there. This one has come on a platter of gold by their mouthpiece, by the person that they've been feeding fatty foods to. For the person that speaks and saliva spits just comes out of his mouth. For that one that we call Ewu, Reno Omokri, he has made a mockery of himself. I yield for now.
All right, thank you very much, Roy. We have who else want to take the mic?
Okay, I just want to put something in perspective, slightly more dangerous than the propagandist Reno Omokri. Like I said, when you look at the submission of Mark Arnold, you would notice that primarily he was here on the invitation of the National Security Advisor. Now, that's not an office that anybody could take for granted. And I think Dapel rightly mentioned the whole mission underground is to discredit Ted Cruz's bill, because, like he said, basically a Christian from one of the most conservative parts of the US, especially from a constituent of Ted Cruz, coming to Nigeria, being on ground, and suddenly saying there is no Christian genocide, automatically kicks that thing out. So it's important to ask, who are the people who do not want Nigeria to be prosperous, who do not want the story of this genocide to go out, who are rejecting the genocide? Why do they do that? Now, the involvement, possibly it would have been Reno all through, but the fact that the arrangement was from the office of the National Security Advisor, it gives a broader perspective to it. And basically what makes it more complex is that the man is a Fulani man and is a Muslim. And the region that is primarily under these heavy massacres happen to be Nigeria's middle belt, predominantly Christian. One of the major characteristics of the killings in the area is that we don't know of the military to basically engage the killers. I would always make that example. There was in May in 2022, there was a mass killing in Mangu, where about 400 people were killed. Until date, not one of the killers has been shot or arrested or anything happened. On the contrary, when the military finally engaged, they ended up killing, I think, about 4 vigilante local people with their den guns that were protecting what was left of their destroyed homes and food items where they were living. So it leaves everybody wondering, what's the problem with the Middle Belt, where basically most of the killing. As a matter of fact, I can tell you there is no region on this earth where people are killed at higher proportion than Nigeria's Middle Belt. None. That's basically in terms of human casualty, that's what I'm talking about. So, and then you wonder, should the military not be actively engaging the killers? But then nothing is happening. So they just show up after a massacre and they say, we're around, stay calm. And then when they shoot bullets, it is likely because the local people are getting aggressive or they have put up resistance against this Islamist. A typical example is what happened in Yelewata. An attack took place, over 250 people were wasted, nobody showed up. A group of women just climbed the road to protest, and before you know what was happening, there was helicopter, there was armor tanks, and then there were people firing live rounds, firing tear gas, and charging themselves up as if they were fighting terrorists, when basically it was just women, most of whom were widows. So it complicates the issue, and actually it gives it that religious touch that many people are struggling to suppress it. It has been on for a very long time. And I think it's just something that cannot be suppressed anymore. And like I said, just like it happened in Sudan, there's always a time frame for evil to persist. At a point in time, people will see it for what it is. And I think the case is, the Nigeria's case basically has come to the table where nobody can deny it anymore.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf, for your wonderful submission. So you've got to be very mindful of time. There's a lot of things coming on my DM that I need to attend to. So whoever that's speaking, let's be very mindful of time. On that note, I will pass the mic to, okay, Dr. Musti, please hold your thought for a minute. Mr. Young was here before you, so let's allow Mr. Young to speak. Mr. Young, you have the mic, sir. Thank you.
Good evening to everyone. Thank you so very much for this opportunity as well to actually contribute to this discourse. Today is actually one of the greatest days as somebody who is from the Middle Belt, somebody who is directly affected. When I mean directly affected, that is to say family members back home, because obviously, of course, I don't live back home, but family members back home, directly affected by this whole, I will call it, sorry to you for lack of word, I will call it madness. But like, Zaria has talked about this thing. It has been ongoing for a very long time. And the challenge is that one of the things that I see in Nigeria, which baffles me, is this. When these issues, were brought up, within ourselves so that we can actually, have these conversations and try to see how we can, have a civil discourse. I remember, from way back, the Nigerian government will shut most of us down, from the Middle Belt. In certain cases, they will see it as maybe, just try to look for something to just cover it. But what many have not realized is that we live today in a tech world. That is to say, in a situation whereby news travels, by the speed of time. And Nigerian government being who they are, inviting, using Reno as it were, to invite this, Mike, I've forgotten his surname now, to Nigeria, thinking that that is the way to quell, the matter, and then, to just, buy time and then look for ways of dousing tension. I'm glad that, it came up, and everybody is seeing what Reno and, and the other guys, what they are, in terms of, their attitudes, to issues of this nature. Well, having said that, one of the things I want to say is this, as much as, those of us who have been affected are pained by the way the Nigerian government is handling the whole situation. One thing, that I will want, because I've had it in so many quarters and people are talking about maybe the people from the Middle Belt is all about, dividing Nigeria and this and that. No, that's not even the issue. The issue is that everybody wants a peaceful environment. And most importantly, one of the things we're living out now is that lands that have been taken, nobody is talking about returning them yet, but I hope that maybe this bill, when it comes up, matters like that will be brought to the fore. People's lives that have been destroyed, there has to be some level of reconciliation and all that in terms of building back. But based on my past history, because this did not start from now, from past history of what we, from those of us from the Middle Belt, know of what has been and what has been happening, I can guarantee you maybe there will not even be any measure of reconciliation. However, I hope that this will put the matter more, in a broader context internationally, so that some people are dealt with by the ICC, and some people also pay for their crimes. I will be very glad, and I will be one of the most happiest persons if we can really have even the names of the sponsors of this terrorism, because it has gone beyond just a matter of just conversation. We need to know who are these people funding this whole thing. We need to know where they are from, because what they are planning is beyond the Middle Belt. The Middle Belt is just a wall, for what they want to do all the way to southern Nigeria. And it's time for Nigerians to wake up. I am not somebody who, kind of like likes anybody or anyone, based on religion. I take people for who they are. But as much as, I will do that, I will also still want my people protected. So the most important thing is that we need to know the sponsors. And this is a time where even if you are a Muslim or you're from any other religion or you are a traditionalist, this is a time where you need to speak up, because it's not a time to play to the gallery. Because when this whole thing came up, there was a lot of propaganda by a lot of guys, who were trying to thinking maybe by coming to insult, putting up, fake names and putting up fake data, they will be able to, quell the whole matter. So, as it were, it is for us to come together as a country, as a nation, as a people, to resolve all of this madness going on. I hope that this will be a lesson to all of us. I hope that we will learn from it and see each other as brothers at the end of the day. Because if I talk about people who I have lost personally, directly, those who were slain, whose pictures I have, I will continue to sit on that pain, and it will never go away. But as a Christian, I learn to forgive. But the most important thing is that we need to know who the sponsors are, and we need to move forward, from this point on as Nigerians, as brothers. I yield the mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Young, for your wonderful submission. And Donald, I'll pass the mic to Dr. Musti. You have the mic, sir.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, depending on where you are at the moment. Thank you, moderators, for giving me the opportunity to speak. So I would like to kind of speak on like 3 points majorly. First of all, the topic itself, and then Reno Omokri and how do we go about it. So first of all, someone made mention, I think the last speaker made mention of the sponsor of terrorism. Me personally, that's one thing I love the most. If we can like push out this sponsor of terrorism, there was this video clip I watched from the Niger government. I think their president or someone official from Niger. He was saying that they would expose the sponsor of terrorism in Nigeria. He said very soon they are going to like release it, but I haven't heard from him so far. And so, but then the issue of this Reno Omokri genocidal narrative and all. So Reno Omokri is someone who has been a propagandist, and he was a co-PDP supporter, right, in throughout Goodluck Ebele Jonathan's time, and also immediately after Buhari came to government. Mercury, he had no any person that he hated the most than President Muhammadu Buhari. So most of his speeches then and a lot of things that he was saying, like I can tell you that 90% of them they were all lies. It was all propaganda. In fact, he was saying that there is Islamization, there is colonization. There was absolutely nothing that he didn't say during Buhari's government. So every Nigerian citizens of common sense and rationality knew that then Reno Omokri was just spewing a propaganda. But then, of course, a lot of people who are now like saying that he's doing propaganda and he's working for the government, then they actually agreed with Reno Omokri. They were the ones promoting Reno Omokri. They were the ones reposting his speeches and tweets. You understand? And that is one of the problem with Nigerians. A lot of people, they are not being honest. That is the problem. Me personally, I'm very, very much happy that he has been exposed. The only thing is that the government, if it is the Nigerian government that sent or assigned Reno or Mercury to go and bring this person and assign him to be the national figure to go and like checkmate all these things to speak with these people, they made a very great mistake, because Reno or Mercury is not someone that has a good image or national outlook, or someone that has the capacity to kind of speak within the, because he has a lot of bad images, lies. He's not an not honest Nigerian. You understand? So you cannot send someone who is not an honest citizen to kind of approach a very sensitive issue of this nature, right? So and then when you talk about the genocide, the some people that are saying, regardless of whether Ted Cruz he said there's genocide, we know that uh, uh, He said it, but then that does not mean we need to kind of look at what is actually happening. Do we truly have the Christian genocide in Nigeria or not? That's a very important question. Does that mean that Christians are not being killed? No, of course Christians are being killed, and then Muslims are being killed. Traditional people are being killed. People, atheists are being killed. Every single people. Someone's mic is on, please. Can
Sorry,
I
sorry,
have
sorry, sorry, Dr. Musti. I apologize. Mr. Maximus, please kindly unmute your mic. Please, if you're not speaking, do not unmute your mic. Apologies, Dr. Musti. Please go ahead, sir.
All right. So we kind of need to look at the whole picture. The question still remains, regardless of how every single person sees it, right? Everyone has his own way of viewing things, right? I'm not denying people's their own perception or how they see it, but my own point is that do we really have a Christian genocide in Nigeria, or we have the problems of terrorism and killings in Nigeria? The answer is the latter. We have problem of killings in Nigeria, regardless of religion and tribe. That is the absolute truth, and that is what can be verified. Any other thing to say that okay, Christian are being, because when you say that there is a Christian genocide, it literally means that Christian population in Nigeria are being systematically targeted, and there is no any data to back this up, right? Even if you, like, for example, you bring a data of this particular location, like 10 Christian people are being, they just happen to be the victims of that killing. That does not mean that it is the Christian population that are being systematically targeted. So there is a difference. So, and in all these killing, as I said earlier, it is not, it transcends any religious or tribe or whatever. It is just generalized killing we have in Nigeria. So if this bill is kind of going to, which of course you know from the way their approach, it's not that okay, they really cared about the Nigerian population or Nigerian masses. That wasn't the thing that stemmed them from like talking about it. It wasn't. But if at all they are all after checkmating the actual cause of the problem or the killings in Nigeria, they should go ahead. Nobody is against it, right? But the narrative that Christians are being targeted is false. And the thing is, the implication of trying to promote a false narrative is that you are also going to be affected at the end of the day, and you are not solved. You are not being exonerated. Anything that affects Nigeria, long as you are a Nigerian, you are also in. So it requires a broader sense of thinking so as to kind of come to the realization of how to go about it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for your wonderful submission. We'll pass the mic to Haruna. Please, those who were here before these individuals are calling up to speak, if you want to speak, please, can you kindly raise your hand and I know that you're ready to speak. Haruna, you have the mic, sir.
Good evening, Mindset, and to everyone, or good morning to everyone that's on the space. What a lovely topic. And these are trying times in Nigeria now. And the destabilization is going on jet speed. Now they are bringing religion, saying we have massacre. Well, Mindset, if you remember, prior to the last election, there was a day they were in your space and it nearly went on to this topic that we're discussing today. Is there genocide in Nigeria? Are we, after telling each other the truth about what is happening, or are we just want to play to the gallery? Now, before this thing escalated to the level that it is today, let's take the history of even the ISIS, the creation of ISIS. Who were the mentors and who were the founding people that funded ISIS? Up till down from Iraq, Syria, down up to the Maghreb, there's the Sahel belt of Africa, and down up to Nigeria. It is clearly seen that it's the Western government that just created this propaganda instrument to keep on depleting nations of their rare resources. A known certified member of ISIS is the president of Syria today, who has been tagged and called all sorts of names before, but today he's been celebrated all over the world. So where's the morality now of the Western world? What are they going to tell us? We saw the assassination of Idris Deby, trying to block the inflow of arms into Nigeria from the Libya axis down to Nigeria. We saw how he was assassinated at war front, barely 48 or 72 hours after he left Nigeria, and held a discussion with the then president. We're seeing what's happening in Libya. We're seeing the attempts on the president of Burkina Faso and so on. We've seen how they've taken up. This is an international conspiracy against Nigeria, and nobody. We should all see it that way. Where are the inflow of arms coming to this terrorists you are talking of? How are they getting? Are the arms manufactured in Nigeria? And why is it that most places that have mineral resources at these places are prone to these attacks of these bandits? Why is it so? It started with rustling, with the Northwest, started Boko Haram in the Northeast. Agreed, we have problem. But who are the sponsors of this problem? Where are they getting their arms that they have high caliber arms, even better than the Nigerian army? Just last week or 2 weeks ago, we saw drones that have warheads flying in Maiduguri. Then the pictures were made available on media, on the timeline. Where are they getting this? How are they moved into Nigeria? We have a very big corridor from the Sahel down. All of us are affected. But in Nigeria, our case is different because we don't even agree that we have that problem. We are painting it as a religious thing. Well, the people in Zamfara, are they Christians? The people in Sokoto, Katsina, predominantly being killed every day, are they Christians? Are you going to tell me that in your own Sheldon, all the people killed in your own Sheldon are Christians? In Barik and Ladi, in Du, and so on, they are all Christians, no Muslims in the crossfire, no atheists, no traditional worshippers. We should stop painting this thing as a religious thing. Believe me, the number of people killed in the Northwest in the past 4 or 5, 10 years, or 8 years, let's say 8 years, are more than the number of people killed in Boko Haram crisis in Borno State. How many villages have been wiped out completely? Let's take Zamfara State. They wiped them out completely. The remnants will report and they will mobilize people to come and bury them. They are praying over dead body. They are killed at the same time to join the people they are praying. Countless of times, we had 200, 300, 400 people wiped out. But because the media too is not helping matters, we have sensational journalism trying to approach this thing. You know, politics has entered into everything. Well, agreed. The media, you will pay the tones dictate the piper. So they will not allow your media even to channel and give you these resources. There's an Igbo man in Zamfara operating a mining company processing gold. All the communities around that communities, they are dead. But did you hear anybody saying that how is the Igbo man operating his business? There's a documentary Daily Trust ran on that Igbo guy running his business successfully. But then if he's running his business successfully at that point, what of all the other communities surrounding? They are all not available. In fact, when the reporter was documenting it, he said the access they got even to get to the gold refining facility was it was top-notch security maneuver before they could get there. So not until we agree that we have a problem and we should not be biased on our problem, we're never gonna get it right. You see, the white man is just using your intellectual narrowness, or what will I say, to like brainwash you. He creates this thing, he sends it to you, and he makes you think that he's not sending it to you, and he just confuses your brain. Why? Are you going to tell me now that Iraq is better today than when Saddam Hussein was there? Are you going to say Libya is better than when Gaddafi is not there? Guys, let's see this thing as a national problem. It's affecting everybody. Everybody is affected. It doesn't come as a Muslim, Christian, atheist, or whatever. My brother, all of us are victims here. Everybody has his own side of story. Like the last speaker said, if everybody were going to sit on his side of story, the country will never move forward. I escaped more than 6 kidnaps on the farm, on the road to the farm, or traveling here and there. We're all victims. We have brothers that are killed. We have workers that have been slain on our land farming. We've seen it directly, not that hearsay. Directly. There's a day I ran on my feet more than a kilometer. I was confused. I didn't know even where I was. And coming back, a lot of people dead. This is happening every day in the north. But even this one that you personally, is not even on the media. Or even when it gets to the media, you hear government turning the story, the narrative upside down. So let's see this thing as it is, please. Forget about Ted Cruz. What does he know about Nigeria? What does he know? These are sponsored CIA narratives to change the direction of our own thinking, of our own problems that we're facing, to give us another gloom reality. The white man cannot come. If they can, why didn't they go to the Democratic Republic of Congo? Why don't they have them there? Africa is bleeding. We just want to be like morons. We just take the dictate of the white man while you are bleeding. You are suffering and smiling, as I would say. If you are comfortable out there, think of your brothers, cousins, sisters, neighbors that are at the root of the problem, what they are going through. This characterization of Nigeria or any genocide is just bullshit as far as I'm concerned. Not until when we see the reality, we'll never get it right. Thank you, myself, for giving me the opportunity.
All right, thank you very much, Haruna, for your wonderful submission. I can see quite a number of persons raising their hands. Mr. Dapel, sorry, there's this guy, there's Mr. Mahmoud Kabiru Kola. Sorry, Sam, I think I'm butchering your name. You've been here since, and you have not raised your hand, so I just wanted to make sure you're still with us, right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, please, if whenever you're ready to speak, do raise your hand, then we would pass the mic to you. Let it not appear that you've been here with not allow you to speak. So okay, so Mr. Yusuf, you wanted to respond to that. Mr. Sheya, will come back to you. Please bear with me for 1 minute, right? Let me hear from Mr. Yusuf. Yusuf, please go ahead, sir, quickly.
Okay, here's what I want to say. The last speaker is talking about a CIA plan, an interventionist plan, and all of that. If I'll be very frank with you, I think whatever interventionist plan that will come from any CIA whatsoever is what happened in 2015. And basically that is where we are. And by 2015, I'm talking about the foisting of Buhari in power. From that time till date, what we have noticed, like I said earlier, is a huge flow of funds from the US. I think Nigeria was one of the greatest beneficiaries of foreign aid from the US, military aid to the Super Tucanos and all of that. On the contrary, while you would have expected that to crush terrorism or to crush Boko Haram, or at least to maintain it localized as it was prior to 2015 in the Northeast, it saw the proliferation of Islamist group. Boko Haram graduated to swearing allegiance to the Islamic State, and then Shekau was taken out. ISWAP came in. So basically, it was one terrorist group to the next, one terrorist group to the next, and then the next thing we saw, the body language of the government was that it became sympathetic to their cause by saying that while you have tens of thousands, some will put it to about 40,000 Nigerians outside as displaced persons, refugees in Niger Republic. We were busy flying terrorists in planes, sewing new clothes for them, finding ways to compensate them, placing them in strategic places and all of that. So that changed the policy of the Nigerian government and made Nigeria a safe haven for the growth of terrorism. Now, with regards to saying that they are trying to bring chaos and all of that, I don't understand what you mean. In a country where there is a genocide, in a country where you can kill 400 people in one day, in a country where you can kill 256 people in one day, in a country where you wipe out a whole lot of people in one day, what is the level of comfort that anybody should enjoy? Secondly, I mean, it is not the first time in Nigeria that people are speaking about genocide. It has been a subject for over a decade. But then the question is, why is it a problem to the government now that some other people have picked interest in it? So what exactly do we expect of the victims of these killings? Because I can tell you, if you want, I can take you to a refugee camp where there are people that have been there for 12 years. Now I'm talking to you about a child that is 10 years, 8 years old, that doesn't know where his parents left. So he just wakes up, and then there's a line of classrooms, and then the mother goes and all of. When you hear stories of what's happening to people becoming IDPs in their own homeland, it doesn't make sense. The clear scenario, especially in the Middle Belt, where you have Islamists sacking people from their homes and the government doing nothing to resettle those people, it doesn't add up. A scenario where people are wiped out and there is no measure to sack or to chase after the people doing the killing, it doesn't make sense. The scenario where each time the people cry out, for instance, in Kaduna State during Nasir El-Rufai's reign, each time the Christians said, this has happened to us, this has happened to us, he was in government, Buhari was the president, it was easy to just shut them up by claiming they are just crying out so that international funding will come. And that was basically how they shut down the Christians in Kaduna. But the dirty things that took place in Kaduna then are not things you want to hear about. And then the question still comes back, and I hope you don't take it personal. When the Christians say there is a Christian genocide, why is it that the Muslims, when they speak out and talk about the fact that Muslims are also dying, it is not because they want justice for the Muslims that are killed, but they just want to, they just want to debunk the notion that there's a Christian genocide. Why are we particularly interested in just rejecting that notion? Because it's looking as if the argument is all about, let us just try to prove that Muslims are also killed, and then we will just solve the problem of genocide. Which country will not kill the people that are killing its citizens, but just try to prove a point that it is not only these people that are being killed? And I've said it before, I think I made these examples on your space mindset some time back. I said, looking at the way people are being killed, if today the citizens of Zamfara will say, this is a genocide, because I said, one day we will put the killings of those regions on the table. We want to look at the kinds of people that are being killed. And whether we accept it or not, we know they are also Muslims, because we don't know of Fulani settlements where these guys go in and rape their women and sack them and all of that. The worst that will happen is for you to hear that they killed 60 people. Why? On the plateau and all of that. And it's the same people doing the same thing, following the same pattern. But we still want to tell people that because the international community is saying there is a genocide in Nigeria, it is now that problem is coming. What problem do you want to talk about when you can bury 200 people and their life goes on as if nothing has happened? What problem are you talking about when in the same country there are people that for the past 10 years have not entered their village and can't go to their village? Trees have grown in houses, grasses have grown everywhere. So it just doesn't add up. And the notion that it is not a Christian genocide, I will still ask, why is it that Muslims are actively trying to fight against the notion of Christian genocide? Basically, is it because it is not a Christian genocide, or is it because the perpetrators of the act, talking about the foot soldiers and the sponsors of the genocide, are Muslims? It's not every Muslim that supports what's happening, but the people pushing these things happening are there. Sheikh Mahmoud Gumi came out, I think, some days back and said that we should take an example with what happened between Hamas and Israel. So let us negotiate with terrorists. Why should anybody be talking about negotiation with terrorists in Nigeria while they are still killing people? So there are sympathetic narratives that come strictly from Muslims that leave people worried. It leaves more questions than answers. It's a country where people are sacked from their homes and killed. And the pattern of killings in other parts of the country. There is no Christian that has woken up to say that no Muslim has been killed. But what we are saying is each time it is a Christian community, the attack is not random. It is deliberately aimed because this is the faith they believed in. The simple reason is because the people perpetrating it are Islamists. That basically is the whole idea. We can continue denying it, but it's just a truth. They didn't start it now. They have documented what has been happening long ago. You said, what does Bill Meha know about Nigeria? He knows a lot. He has been reading the posts. He has been reading people's complaints. He has been reading petitions that have been written and all of that. So he knows a lot about Nigeria also. So it's not exactly as if Nigeria is blind, the world is blind to what has been happening in Nigeria. The time to focus on it has come. That's just it. Sorry, mindset, I took a little extra time.
It's fine. It's fine. Thank you very much. For those who are asking how are these people getting this information, don't be surprised who's listening to all these spaces. So when you guys on spaces and you're saying things, there are people listening because this thing is free for everyone to listen. But before I pass the mic to the next speaker, I listened to Mr. Haruna and I had Mr. Yusuf respond. Let me quickly read out the investigation, their findings. Let me read this in so that might actually make sense to the next speaker. This is from Mr. Mike Arnold, who have been to Nigeria, and this is their findings. Say, I declared this without any shadow of doubt. The campaign of violence and displacement in northern Nigeria and Middle Belt, Nigeria, does indeed constitute a calculated, current, and long-running genocide in capital letter against Christian communities and other religious minorities without any reasonable doubt. So I just want us to underline that, he mentioned Christian communities and he said against other religious minorities. I hope that we understand that. So, when we are looking at it, I do not want us to feel that, okay, this is only about Christians. I mean, they are saying that there are other minorities, right? Religion, whichever religion it is. So they are talking about Christians are being killed, and at the same time, there are other minorities. So let's not lump it that this whole thing is just about the Muslims and everything. The government invited them. I'm saying the government because Reno Omokri, for all I care, he worked for the government. And these guys came to Nigeria for their fact finding. They've been to everywhere that they need to be. And they said, this is exactly what's going on. They used the capital letter. I can send that to everyone who cares to read the report. So, Mr. Sheyi, you have the mic. Let's be very mindful of time. Haruna, please, I will come back to you. Bear with me for a minute. Mr. Sheyi, you have the mic. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sheyi Gumewa. I'm not going to dwell on trying to disprove what other people have said, trying to say that it's not a Christian genocide, everybody is being killed, because Haruna has really dealt that topic a big blow. But what I want to add up here right now is about the culpability of the Nigerian government. You see, because of politics, we spend so much time in Nigeria playing around. That's what we do. We just play around, fool around a lot, forgetting that everything we say online, in the newspapers, government, all those things that Bayo Ononuga says, and all those things that government officials are saying, voila, all these guys, people are listening to everything. And all these problems started from Buhari's time. What's this guy's name? Malami had a list of 400 terrorism sponsors. Nothing happened to that list. We never got to know those guys. You think that they will give you the names of 400 people? America does not have it. They got 6 people in Dubai saying that these guys had so much money and they were sending money to Nigeria. And they had, from investigation, they were able to pencil down 400 other people living within Nigeria. And we did nothing about that. And then there are people here trying to get into Dubai. Dubai is sending, not Dubai, sorry, Saudi Arabia for Hajj. Saudi Arabia is sending them back. We are just playing. They come here and they just continue their lives, making fun of others, talking like tomorrow is never going to come. Look, this is the time that we need to give account of us. I've seen a lot of people, government officials, frothing in the mouth because people are saying that there's a genocide. They never said anything when other people were killed, whether Muslims or Christians. The other time, people were killed in Kwara State, the president went to Akwa Ibom instead. Nothing happened. People are watching. People know that things are going on. So for somebody to come and say, no, they want to come and take over our country. They want to put boots. For what gain? If you are talking about the resources, this Zamfara gold has been going on for a long time. We do not have one single bar of gold in the Central Bank of Nigeria. Where is the gold going? The governor that was there, that groomed all the bandits and all the criminals, Matawale is now defense minister. Look, everything that we are doing today has been documented. We are just playing around. For us to be sending people like Boala going on TV and talking, Reno and all these people, we are just wasting time. You know, before the Western people, before they come out to talk, they will have gathered enough information. It's the same way they catch criminals abroad. They could trail you for 2 years, 3 years and say nothing. But now they have come out to tell you what is going on. There's no amount of defense that you can put up. They know what is going on. We have government officials who come out every day talking in favor of Hamas. We had Hamas people coming here, visiting Febi Fani-Kayode, visiting government officials in Abuja, and we are joking. You think they are not tracking us? Please, let's be serious. This is the time for us to fight for our country. We want peace in Nigeria. This is not about Muslim alone or Christian alone. We want peace in Nigeria. I grew up in Kano. I went to secondary school in Kano. My parents were in Kano for 30 years. I faced this kind of harassment from Muslims, and I know what I'm saying. I saw so many riots in Kano, and what I'm just saying here is that look, we cannot continue to play and pretend that nothing is happening. I stopped going to the north finally when I was in my final year in university, when I was almost killed on Zaria Road because a man thought that I was young and I was not praying. He said it in Hausa that why will I sit in the car and I was not praying? I was not doing salah. Look, what I'm just trying to say here is that as long as government is looking the other way, people are being killed every day, we are just joking. People will come. What happened in Ghana? Ghana people, the Ghanaian government said, every time you see a full animal with AK-47, shoot him. What are we doing? People are walking around, walking from north to south, walking around the country with AK-47, meeting government officials with AK-47, and somebody is saying that it's not about religion, it's not about this, it's not about that. They put on new clothes for these guys, tell them that they are welcome in government, to give them money and all this, even fund their marriages and salah. What are we talking about? If somebody is a criminal, the government is supposed to go out and go after all criminals. The other time when Buhari was there, they said I think Fashoranti's daughter was killed on the highway by Fulani. This same Tinubu was asking, where are the cows? Was making a joke of the whole thing. Now we are here where people are being killed every day. There was about 3 weeks, I was documenting, I was writing down how many people were killed in Nigeria every day, road accident, terrorists, natural disaster. People are dying in hundreds of thousands every year, and nothing is being done. Please, let's be serious. The Nigerian government is culpable, and people have seen through them, and there's no amount of washing that will clean this government. We have to do something. This is the time. Thank you. I don't want to take so much time.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Sheyi, for your wonderful submission. Yes, I do agree with you. These guys are listening. If you doubt that they are listening, I would like anybody who have the time to go and read the report from Foreign Relations, right? You find out that most of the things that are being said here, these guys are following it. They made mention of some of the things that the senators and the spokesperson of the government, what they said. And one of the ones that hammered so much was the one Bayo of Nonoga. So they are listening. Some of them are on this platform listening. So we have to be very, very mindful. Thank you once again, Mr. Sheyi. I'm gonna butcher. I don't know if I'm able to pronounce this name. Takuluku 7, right? Sir, you should have been the next person. Good evening. Please bear with me for 1 minute. You should have been the next person. But please, if you're okay with this, please can you kindly mute your mic, sir? Thank you. Please, can we allow Haruna, because he wanted to respond to Mr. Yusuf, if that's okay with you. If not, I will pass the mic to you. Are you okay with that? Just to allow Haruna to respond quickly, and then we'll come back to you. Mr.
Yes,
Thank you very much. Haruna, you have the mic. Let's keep it brief, please.
You see, man said a lot of people don't even know the difference between grant and aid or outright purchase of military equipment. When Buhari went to Trump was after America first. Nigerian government purchased the Tucano jets from America. It was not an aid. We paid billions for that. First, you should understand that. And you see, that is the context that people just use words that they don't know the meaning of what they're saying. People that don't have any, people that have been sponsored. This guy is a sponsored guy to a lot of NGOs that were funded by the CIA. We've seen a member of House of Reps in the chamber in America detailing how USAID spend funds in Pakistan, in Afghanistan to Taliban, and in Nigeria specifically mentioning Boko Haram. Now, what are we saying? The USAID, as member of Reps, was reading from a document that they've funded in Pakistan, and they funded Taliban, and they funded Boko Haram. It's not me that said that. A member of the Congress. So then what are we all saying? You see, that's the narrative. What is happening with all these NGOs that we have in this country? They're just being used stupidly without them even thinking in their heads. Changing the narrative of our culture, changing the narrative of our educational system, changing the narrative of our healthcare, changing the narrative of our food security even. And stupidly, we are not even seeing that effect on food security. We are not seeing that. Maybe in the next 10 years now, you will never have any seedlings to in your barn if you are a farmer, because the incursion of GMO. When we are kids, our parents will go farm maize. You see, they will tie it in the kitchen, in the thatch roof. For next farming season, we just pick it and plant it. But now what is happening? So these things are layers, are in layers. And not until one is not being daft, that is just after dollars, we'll see this thing clearly. How much is Bill Gates spending in Nigeria now to suppress even the use of pesticides, herbicides, and so on? Leaching your soil. When we have arable land that are just naturally fertile, when you apply compost, you farm without anything. But stupidly, we are destroying our soil. We are destroying the profile of our soil. Leaching. And everybody will dance. I will have you eat big banana that is as big as your arm, and you're happy you are eating good banana, not knowing you are taking poisons. Look at the rate of cancer, diabetes, blood pressure, and so on in Nigeria now. Nobody is even thinking of that direction. I said people, when they talk, they should talk with basic facts. Not people should just have the mic and say what they want to say. These are facts, and we've seen it all over. Muslims are not. How can a Muslim support genocide? When first, in your own religion, you have been told that la ikrah fi din, there's no compulsion in religion. There's no compulsion in religion. And for every soul that is killed, it's like you've killed humanity. And when you save a soul, it's like you've saved humanity. That is the teaching of Islam. Islam has been, you see, my action should not be judged based on Islam. I am Haruna for every act I've done. Let it be considered that it is Haruna that has done it. There's a difference between Haruna and Islam. There's a difference between Zari and Christianity. His act is not supposed to be, I should not use his act to judge Christianity. And likewise, I shouldn't use my own act to judge Islam. How can you be Muslim and you support killing of human beings? How? Where is your faith, man? Your faith completely is being destroyed. From the moment you think of destroying, taking somebody's soul, you are out of Islam. And it is stated, if you kill, you should be killed. Just like the laws of Moses, eye for an eye. There's no any prerogative to killing. In Islam, there is no any say you manslaughter or no. Killing is killing straight, because you did not create that soul. You don't have the power to take that soul. Thank you, Master. Let me. I'm thinking.
All right, thank you very much, Haruna, for your wonderful response to the question that to Mr. Zayu and the other speaker. Captain, I hope you're still with us. Captain, please, guys, I'll come back to you, sir. Let me quickly find out how my co-host is doing. Captain, are you still with us? All right, because there are quite a number of individuals requesting for the mic, and I'm not able to see them. So I'm hoping that Captain can help, but Captain is not responding. So. Okay, let's continue. Where is Mr. Dapel? Please, can you hold for a minute? Is that okay, sir? Can you hold for 1 minute? So not 1 minute, please. Can you hold for a few minutes? Let's hear from Mr. Takulu Kosh. Mr. Takulu, if that's okay, let me know butcher your name, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. I would like to respond like this because this is a very serious issue, and some of us have lost loved ones, and some part of our villages destroyed, and we are seeing the dangers. The fact is that as Nigerians, we don't want to be accountable, and I'll have to respond to Mr. Haruna because the issue of insecurity or the whole genocide stuff in Nigeria is dynamic, but it has a root cause. We have over 6 regions in Nigeria, or 5, if I may. And whenever it comes to terrorism, it always falls back to a particular religion. I'm not trying to call names because I just want to have respect for whatever we worship and whatever we practice as our religion. 2015, prior to the elections, we saw the threats from Buhari. We saw the whole gimmicks from the likes of El-Rufai. And we saw the build-up to the election. During Goodluck's time, the bombing and the rest. And it was coming from a particular region. But before then, the Niger Delta militants were disturbing down south. And it was because of their political, should I say, their birthrights. What government should have given to them naturally, they were fighting for it. It didn't have any religious angle to it or connection that, okay, people from the south are Christians and they are trying to pave their way into Nigeria and reclaim what is theirs. That aside, Buhari started this whole thing. The likes of Milafia, may his soul rest in peace, made confessions about all these things, exposed the likes of El-Rufai, Buhari, how they planned, how they brought in mercenaries from different African countries to help destabilize the country, because the president then was not, to them, fit to lead Nigerians. During the 2023 election, El-Rufai still made a statement that they replicated the Muslim tickets, and they are still going to do it at the federal level, that's the presidency. And it happened. And these same people are still in power while Christians are being murdered. And the issue here is not like, we are not saying Muslims are not being killed, but when Christians are being killed, what are the Muslims doing to help curb this? Everybody stays quiet. Now that we have international attention and people are saying there's a Christian genocide, we now start seeing the Muslims being proactive, all the ROI influencers coming up to say, it's not only Christians that are being killed, Muslims are also being killed. Nobody stopped you guys from saying Muslims are being killed before now. Nobody tells your story better than you do. Imagine if they attack my village in Benue, and I come out to say my village is being attacked, and you wake up from Kano and say, me too, my village is being, how's that my business? My business right now is that my people are being killed, and I'm calling for help. I'm calling for succor. I'm calling for protection. And that should be my target. So if you have a problem for me saying my village is being attacked and I need support and I need help and I need protection, it means there is something you are not saying. That is the problem we have in Nigeria currently. We've seen all the terrorist groups that have risen in recent times. Tell me which one. would blow up a place, kill a village, and you now hear them praising their own God, saying to the glory of this particular God from okay, a Christian God, we are happy this is done. Or somebody say, in the name of Amadioha, we are killing these people. It doesn't happen. But we have a particular region, the northern region in Nigeria, that whenever terrorists attack, and you hear testimonies from survivors, you hear them saying all these things, that they chant this thing, giving praise to their God. And we have their leaders going to romance a terrorist in the forest, offering peace deals. The like of Sheikh Gumi, we've seen him multiple times going to have meetings with these people, and he's a religious leader from this particular religion. Then they come on this space and tell us that they don't support this. Silence in the face of injustice is also a way of support to injustice, because what you are not condemning, you are also promoting it. So we should be very direct, we should be very truthful, we should be very sincere with ourselves, because most times they kidnap pastors and they don't come out alive, like the recent one that just happened. They don't come out alive because they are Christians. We've seen where they behead Christian leaders on live footage. What are people from this religion doing to curtail all these things? But no, they go, they give them peace deals. They rehabilitate this crop of people just because they are from the same religion and the same region. And we still want to say there's nothing like Christian genocide happening in Nigeria. So I would just like to round this up, because I don't want to take much time. We all know what we are doing in Nigeria. And once there's a problem on the table and we don't proactively curb or stop that issue, it will come back to haunt us, because what we say and what we do is who we truly are. That's our real character. And like Mr. Haruna rightly said, that when somebody commits a crime, you don't go to judge the person's religion or whatever. But as a Nigerian, if I commit any crime tomorrow internationally, they will trace it back to my nation. Likewise, if I'm a Christian and I do something wrong, it will fall back to me, because that is what I represent. That is what I portray. That is what I stand for. So we should start telling ourselves the truth. Our religious leaders here are romancing terrorists. Our religious leaders here are promoting the killing of other people from other religion, and we are not doing anything about it. Then when those people stand up and say there is a Christian genocide, we will come here to start playing the victim card. Time has come for us to tell ourselves the truth. Whether we say it now, we will die. Whether we don't say it, we will still die. Of recent, Dati was interviewed on channels by Sheun. We heard all what he said. Buhari was part of it from his own statement. Erifai is part of it. The Buhari that said they will soak the blood of the dogs and the baboon, is he alive today? So I'll just round up and say, whether we like it or not, the truth is in our front. We rather stick by it, or we allow the enemies to overcome us. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Takuluku. I hope I pronounced your name the right way, please. If not, correct me.
Yeah, you did.
Thank you. See, I'm doing my best. Now, unfortunately, the co-host is not responding, and we have quite a number of persons who are requesting for the mic. Before I pass the mic to the next speaker, I would like to ask if anybody can see Mr. Abdullahi Baiki on the platform. If you can see him, please do raise your hand, and I will pass the mic to you. And if that's the case, we probably will need somebody who will volunteer to be a co-host. And the person will be somebody who has not blocked anybody. So we don't want to lose the persons on the speaker section. But it's been a very interesting conversation. I must commend everybody. We are keeping it civil. We are not abusing anybody. We disagree with somebody, and we tell them the reason we disagree with them. Dapper, you raised your hand earlier on. Please go ahead, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So this issue of one side trying to say, no, there's no genocide, they're not genocide. I'm wondering. So you see, if the bill or the US Senate or the lawmakers pushing for it are saying Muslims are killing Christians in Nigeria, now it will make a lot of sense for some people to come and start saying no, because the truth is there are plenty Muslims who are not doing any harm. It makes sense that way. But they are saying these are extremists that are killing people because those people have faith. Now, let me ask you a question. And perhaps the answer to this question is the reason why these lawmakers that are pushing this bill are targeting government officials. Has Boko Haram ever attacked mosques? The answer is yes. Have they attacked people in marketplaces? The answer is yes. Have they attacked people in churches? The answer is yes. Have they attacked government institutions like police headquarters, UN buildings? The answer is yes. But have they ever attacked any political rally in Nigeria? The answer is no. Why? I'll pause here for now.
That's quite a very interesting one. I've never actually thought about it that way, but I'm going to do more research on that. Then I'll probably be able to respond to that. So if you're just joining us, please, and you would like to contribute, I will indicate by raising your hand. If not, I will pass the mic to those who raise their hands. So I do not want it to be that the conversation is leaning one side, right? So if there's anybody who just joined and you would like to contribute, please do raise your hand and we'll pass the mic to you. Mr. Yusuf, you raise your hand, please go ahead.
So my friend kept saying it is not, it is this, it is that, it's not this, don't give it religious coloration and all of that. It's a simple question. And then the idea of trying to use the example of Bill Gates, GMO, destroying, agricultural sector and all of that, that affects everybody. But the question is simple. If basically we want to even excuse the killers and say they are just opportunistic killers that were handed arms, they don't have a mind of their own. Somebody from the West just flooded the country with arms. The question is, why is it only one particular religion that takes up these arms? An example is in the Middle Belt. Whether you accept it or not, we have suffered massive casualties in genocidal proportions. I've told you, I said there are communities scattered around the Middle Belt that for 5-10 years, people have not stepped foot. I have been to a few. Now, what do you think it is, if it is all about the people supplying the arms? And then maybe you will find the person that has left his community for 5 years is more likely to pick up arms to go and kill the person occupying the place and reclaim his home. But that's not happening. Just barely 24 hours ago, a reverend was complaining that the meeting was held with Mieti Allah and a couple of other people, and he wasn't invited. I mean, feeling these are affected communities. Why are you holding meeting without us? And once he saw it, he suspected there is likely going to be an attack on Christian communities. And they said, no, that he's just a noisemaker trying to raise unnecessary alarm, trying to give religious coloration to the whole thing. And barely 24 hours after he spoke, he had to officiate the burial of about 15 people. But then we still insist there is no religious coloration to it. And as I'm speaking to you, I can assure you that today, tomorrow, next tomorrow, just the way 258 were killed in Benue and nobody went after the killers, nobody will go after these killers. But you expect the Christians to tell you, no. So I don't understand, is the wisdom that, what is the wisdom? Is it that the Christians should say, no, US, no, international community, don't dabble into our affairs. We are okay. We are living peacefully with our brothers, blah, blah, blah. We can't say that. Like I said, the simple thing is that there is a common denominator with the people doing the killings. That's one of the things we try to avoid. We want to avoid the people doing the killings and the reason behind which they're doing the killings. When Boko Haram came out, we had northern politicians lying and lying that it was economic hardship that made them pick up arms. They kept lying, but even though Boko Haram said this is why they were giving.
No. Sorry, Haruna, you know how things work on the platform. Just let him land. I will pass the mic to you. I apologize, Yusuf. Okay. Please, can you kindly round up, sir?
You understand? So it's a problem. So my question is, if it is the West that is supplying arms so as to destabilize Nigeria, okay? Let's assume every Nigerian is peace-loving, they're supplying arms to destabilize. Why is it only Islamist groups that are proliferating with sophisticated arms? One. And then two, Why is it that the northern politicians and the Islamic clerics tend to have a sympathetic approach towards them? And when I say, I mean, just look at Sheikh Gumi, for instance, just look at the peace talks they hold and all of that. And then why is it that the only time you find people complaining about this thing is when the Christians, having suffered for over a decade these genocidal massacres, the very moment there is an international attention to it, I remember the same thing happened when the Archbishop of Makurdi went to the US to make a presentation. People came after him and said, it's a lie, there's no Christian genocide. Why are you only becoming vocal whenever the international community picks interest in the massacre of Christians in Nigeria, and then you are quiet about it? For instance, a large group of hundreds of terrorists flooded a community that they went for peace talks. And then a government official was present at the wedding of a terrorist. I didn't hear noise from the north. I remember when they slaughtered over 100 rice farmers. I didn't hear cries from the north. But the very moment the international community says, let's zoom in on what's happening in the middle belt, then everybody comes off and starts saying, no, no. Is it that convincing the world that Muslims also die should be enough and leave people like that? What exactly is the logic behind it? I also want to understand that.
I went to work with, I know personally the reason why I left Kaduna was because I was affected. I had just had a son, and I said I wasn't going to live here anymore. I was going to leave. So when we say it, and it makes it feel like, is it that this person doesn't want to listen, or they're trying to make me feel like I'm mad? What I heard is not what I heard. What I saw is not what I saw. I think we are asking for support from the true Muslims to stop this. And it's not a battle against religions. I yield.
All right, thank you very much, Roy. Please, guys, we're going to be very mindful of time. It's actually 2 minutes past 12 where I am, and then we'll be able to carry everybody along as we pass the mic to Mr. Abud Rahim. Abud Rahim, you have the mic. Good evening. Mr. Abud Rahim, I think I pronounced your name the right way. Character is the third biggest cause of blindness. Religion and politics remain the first. Are you? Is it?
Oh, yes.
Okay, please.
Oh, yes, mindset. I'm having network issues here. I'm struggling with it. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes.
Good evening.
Yes, I can hear you, sir. Please go ahead. Yes, Mr. Okay, I think we've lost him. So as we wait for him to rejoin, Dapel, please, is it your turn that you have to speak? Can we please carry the other two speakers that have just joined us? Please, if that's okay with you, sir. Are you leaving right now?
Yeah, and I was just trying to ask Haruna a few questions, but that's okay. I can wait.
Okay, please, thank you. So the next speakers wouldn't take more time. Max 2 minutes, they will be run. Okay, hi, Jimmy, you have the mic. Good evening.
Hello, Mindset. Good evening, and good evening to everybody. I've been listening for a while. I just decided to join to just chip in my only 2 cents. I heard, I'm not sure who made that statement about Muslims are not killing, is it Christians? Whichever way they put it. So, in as much as nobody claimed that, but is it just a coincidence? I mean, it's just too much of a coincidence. Can you mention a situation, an incident whereby it was testified that the person that carried out mass shooting or mass killing, or a particular set of people that carried out mass killing, came out with their guns and they shout in the name of Jesus before they start shooting people, or the blood of Jesus before they start shooting people? Is that just a coincidence? I have a list of over 100 pastors, priests, clergymen that were killed by so-called bandits, terrorists, whatever name you want to give them. Could you please mention 2 imams that were killed, or any imam that was shot, beheaded, strangled, burnt? Can you mention any? How many mosques have been burnt so far? The statistics are there. I'm going to put some on the Jumbotron. These are facts. It's not emotion. How many churches have been burnt? Now, let's do a little bit of mathematics. Do you know the total number of people in the IDP camps? Do you know how many Christians are amongst those people in the IDP camps? In as much as I don't want to condemn a whole religion because of this, but guess what? Enough is not being done to condemn it by the good Muslims amongst of you. We have a lot going on within the Yoruba people. You know, the Yoruba knows you have the Omoluabi standing up against them. Within the Igbos, we have the Biafrans moving mad. We have the Indigos, the sons of the soils and the daughters. They are calling them out publicly. We can see. Can you tell me how many Muslims have actually come together to condemn this act? But no, all we see are people that are wanted worldwide, that are tagged as terrorists internationally, coming into Nigeria. being welcomed. They're being treated like kings. So no one is attacking the Islamic religion, but somehow the religion itself happens to find itself in chaos. Anywhere there is chaos, the religion is there. It's just coincidence. So no one is saying your religion is bad. Okay? It's just that whenever there is violence, whenever there is killing, whenever there is beheading, whenever there is people being burnt, whenever there is a church being burnt, coincidentally, your religion is there. And that should be worked on. Let us see more people coming out to speak against this madness, not condoning it, but condemning it. I yield back now.
Thank you very much, Jimmy, for your wonderful submission, and thank you for keeping to time. So we're still struggling to bring up Mr. Baike. So if anybody on the speaker section can see him, please do let me know. I can make you a co-host. So Mr. Yusuf, you said you have a question before I pass the mic to Mr. Abdulrahim, please, because he's been waiting, and we have Miss Tracy.
Okay. No, yeah. So I just wanted to respond to a certain point that Haruna was asking, that who are the people being arrested as gun runners in the Middle Belt? You see, in Kaduna State, there was a point in time, those terrorists that Sheikh Gumi loves to defend and tell the Nigerian army to not be aggressive against them. There was a time they shot down a fighter jet. They attacked Nigerian Defense Academy. They kidnapped students from School of Forestry. They did a whole lot of evils. And then Sheikh Gumi, I think the most prominent Islamic cleric in Kaduna, started off as if he was condemning them. The next minute, he started sympathizing with them. And the next minute, he clearly tells Nigerians that if we want peace, we shouldn't provoke them and all of that. As a matter of fact, he went ahead to say that we shouldn't vote for anybody that has planned to eliminate them. They are here to stay. When you look at the kinds of weapons they carry, when you look at the weapons that you need to shoot down a plane, when you look at an RPG, an AK-47 with chains of bullets and all of that, and after heavy massacres, then you travel to Kafanchan and look for somebody that repairs grinding machine, that does den guns that cannot go farther than 100 meters. And then you display him with locally made pistol, and then name him as the supplier as the gun runner to the terrorist operational in Kaduna State. It insults common sense. The same thing on the plateau. You go to a community and you kill over 400 people. Then a day later, you round up 4 vigilante, all of them, they have tribal names, and then you shoot them. Clearly, the notion is that the people sat down in a community and decided we hate Fulani Muslims. So some of us will come and attack in the night. We will rape our sisters, we will kill our wives, we will kill our parents, and then we'll turn around and say they attacked us. And then the military will come and discover that they are the people that attacked themselves. I think it's a very dumb narrative. It has been repeating itself. It happened in Kaduna. It's in Kaduna, I remembered on this platform, people were mocking us, saying they will just go and drink pukutu. Then they will kill themselves. Then in the morning, they will say it's Fulani people that killed them. So the point is simple. As far as the Middle Belt is concerned, what gives it a genocidal dimension is the fact that the killers are not being brought to book. In the case of Benue, over 200, I went to the community twice. I've got names, over 258 or so, even though they started denying it by saying 50, 57 and all of that, there were over 250 people that were killed. And then after some time, they went and arrested 30 thief people. So the question we're asking is, these thief people, they just woke up in the morning and decided to kill their people so that they will say Fulani attack them? Or what exactly is the logic behind it? What is the logic of using RPGs, AK-47s? Sometimes, this gun, it was very popular during the Second World War, where you press it and then fire spits out and burns places. You use that to kill people in their hundreds. And then after some time, they will go and arrest local people with den guns and tell you that they are the suppliers of the weapons. I mean, how do you use a locally made den gun to shoot down an airplane? How do you use a den gun to attack the Nigerian Defense Academy? How do you use den guns to kill 400 people within hours and leave? How do you use den guns to pin down the military? Because in Benue, the military said that they'd stop them from going to offer assistance to the people that were being killed. So who uses den guns to do that? if you go to all of the stories that they bring about people in the Middle Belt saying they are gun runners, show me the kind of guns they are doing. You made mention of it. Show me the kind of guns they are using. I will bring you a picture of all of the people that Sheikh Gumi and a lot of other Islamic clerics have been visiting or have been advocating for, and show you the kind of weapons they are using. Then you will compare the den gun that somebody that is repairing grinding machine or doing den guns for vigilante is producing, and tell me how he is able to feed a terrorist group that can withstand the army or even overcome it. So it just doesn't add up. That narrative of saying that the people sit down in the community and decide to attack themselves, and it just doesn't add up. Please, it's a problem.
Thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Mr. Abdulrahim, please go ahead. Then I'll pass to Ms. Faith. Abdulrahim, you're back on the speaker section.
Marshall, good evening. Say good morning. I'm having network issues here. I will try to be very, very brief. The time is not enough. Like I always come on your spaces, you give me the chance to speak. Thank you. And like I always say, um, I do agree that there is genocide in the Middle Belt. And I don't want to start saying that there are killings all over the country and all. Probably it will look as if I'm being defensive or something, but I'm not because I do agree.
Sorry, Mr. Abdulrahim. Sorry, I do apologize for interjecting. Sorry, can you mute your mic for a minute, sir, please? So, as I said earlier on, this thing is being streamed, and there's a particular senator, not from Nigeria, that is interested in what is going on here. So, I wouldn't want somebody to misquote you. So, if it's safe to do so, can you? I'm not sure if it's your mic or it's your background. Can you find a much better place so you can speak freely and audibly, so people can hear you, not so somebody will misquote you. I'm not recording this. I hope that's okay with you, sir.
Okay, yes. Am I audible now?
Perfect. Please go ahead, sir. Yes, okay. Yes, you are.
Okay, so actually, I'm not going to go into deep all over the country or so forth. But the thing is that Sheikh Jafar Adam, Sheikh Albani Zaria are very, very respected Islamic clerics in the north, and they are victims of Boko Haram terrorism. It was very obvious and clear that they were killed by the Boko Haram members, Boko Haram terrorists, and so on and so forth. So someone asked this question, so hence why I'm bringing this up, is asking if there are any Muslim clerics that have been victims of Muslims killing or whatever. Also, some people are saying they are not trying to say it's Muslims killing Christians, but to be very honest, so many times I've listened to these type of conversations. That is the insinuation, actually. See, the thing is that there is genocide going on in the Middle East, but it's not Christian genocide. This has been my stand. But is there thief genocide in Benue State? Yes, there is. Because the word genocide itself, originally from the Greek word genu, meaning tribe, it cannot be applicable to a religion. But like I said earlier on this very space, I feel the term they are giving it Christian genocide, possibly because there is need for it to be heard. There is need for the world to know that people are dying in this specific place. No problem, but there is still there is still that bit of disagreement. Why not call it thief genocide? Why not say it's Birum genocide when people are actually being killed there? Why do you have to make it a religious term? Why do you have to affiliate it to a religious term? To me, Gaspia, it's a bit not fair. You are robbing on our faces too, because we as well are victims. Like I say, I'm a victim of bandits. I escaped bandit twice. I escaped bandits in Maru, local government of Zamfara State. I escaped bandits in Niger State as well, in around Wawa area, New Busa access. So, assuming I was killed in that time, they wouldn't have care or it wouldn't have mattered to them what faith I practice or whatever religion I belong to. So you making it this, like I said, I do firmly agree that there is genocide in the Middle Belt, and the Birum people, the Tea people, some of the minority tribes in Middle Belt getting wiped out. And who are the orchestrators? Who are those doing it? It's the Fulani terrorists, of course. Why? Because of course it's very obvious. Why would we, nobody would come and deny that fact. And the thing here is that you just cannot come into a community newly. I'm a farmer. I go to communities to farm. When we go there, we seek the support of the leaders there, the kings. We get land from them. We pay for the land. We cultivate. We are peaceful with the communities. We finish what we are doing there and we leave. So why is it that when the Fulani go into a certain community, they don't approach the kings, they don't release lands, or they don't, probably because there is some sort of leadership failure from the political class that have not sat down and say, look, listen, this is a very easy thing to solve. When you go to a community, seek permission, coexist with the people, the government can protect you, they can protect your investment. I feel there's just no just leadership in this country that would sit down and say, listen, this has been going on and on and on. Let's appeal to all groups. You that is coming to grace, sit, do the right thing. You that is the owner of the land, please accommodate so person. Let them do their thing here, and we promise you there will be peace between you, the two of you. I feel let's just get to the root of the problem. Like I said, see, the insecurity issue is affecting all of us here. It's everywhere. Hundreds are dying even here in the north. We are getting killed. We have relatives, families that are also victims. So, but when you give it a religious coloration, it seems not fair. And like I said, personally, I condemn these killings, and they shouldn't happen. They shouldn't also go on. Maybe because me, I like being just. Maybe they give it this religious tune so that it can garner it can gain that coverage or support. But regardless, it still feels a little bit unfair to us when you say it's the Muslims killing the Christians. You kind of target to a specific religion, and it's not really. I came to the space that energy was everywhere, but I said, let me just say my own part, as a Muslim. So, but I believe I'll just end it here. My brother Zari Yusuf and everyone, thank you very much for listening to me, myself.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Abdulrahim, for your wonderful submission. So before I pass the mic to Ms. Face, let me quickly read this out. I think it's very important that some of us on this platform should go and read the findings from Mr. Mike Arnold. And I've read it out before, but I think it is very important I do so. He said, and I quote, "I declare this without any shadow of doubt. The campaign of violence and displacement in northern and Middle Belt Nigeria does indeed constitute a calculated, current, and long-running genocide against Christians, communities, and other religious minorities without any reasonable doubt." So I want us to understand that. So when we talk of somebody's mic is on, who might that be? Somebody's mic is. Please let's not do this now. We've been having a very interesting conversation, and if you're mute your mic, it doesn't help us. Okay, let me leave it at that. Miss Face, please go ahead.
Hi, Manse. Thank you so much. Good morning from here. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving me the mic. I was so happy just listening, but I had to come up when somebody started asking for numbers. I get really, really upset when people's lives are being talked about, especially when they are dead, and someone is asking for numbers or for data. Because even if it's just one person that gets killed, there is no justification for it, for somebody to just die, unnecessarily like that. But since he wants numbers, I'm just going to give him a few because I know that time will not permit us. Since 2000, an estimated number of 62,000 Christians have been murdered in Nigeria. And another report has it that since 2009, 52,000 Christians have been killed by Islamist extremists. And between 2019 and 2023, nearly 17,000 Christians were killed in targeted attacks. The first 7 months of 2025 alone saw over 7,000 Christians as victims and about 7,800 kidnapped. In 2023, 82% of all Christians killed for their faith all over the world were Nigerians. And this is totaling, or rather, this totaled 4,990, nearly 5,000 deaths. And just a little timeline. From June 8th to 14th, 2025, I'm sure most of us will remember this in Benue State, Fulani militants, who I love to call terrorists, left at least 218 people dead and over 6,000 people were displaced. In March 27th to April 13th, 2025 in Plateau State, within a 2-week period, Fulani terrorists killed 126 Christians in a series of attacks on villages. And in Christmas 2023 in Plateau State, a coordinated attack on Christian farming communities on Christmas Eve resulted in the deaths of at least 160 people. In June 2022, we all remember what happened at Owo in Ondo State, where over 50 parishioners were killed in the church. And between 2012 and 2014, Boko Haram was responsible for attacks on over 50 churches. And one of these attacks, resulted in at least 366 Christians dead. In December 30, 2013, the Chibok girls, we all know that. November 25th, I'm just rushing because of time. November 25th, 2012, in Kaduna, a suicide bomber attacked St. Andrew's Protestant Church and killed 30 people. In October 28, 2012, in Kaduna again, a suicide bomber targeted St. Rita's Catholic Church and killed 15 people, injuring dozens of others. And in August 2012, in Okene, Kogi State, gunmen attacked the Deeper Life Bible Church and killed 20 people. In January 2nd, 2012, in northern Nigeria, Boko Haram issued an ultimatum for all Christians to leave the north within 3 days. And that followed by a week of violence that saw more than 30 Christians shot dead. The Chibok abduction that happened, Christians were involved, and the Boko Haram abducted 276 schoolgirls. And I want to also give him some names of clergymen who were attacked by Fulani terrorists. We have Father Matthew, who was killed in Enugu, Pastor Bitrus Salah, a pastor of Ekwa Church, who was also killed in Kaduna. Reverend Ezekiel, in January 30, 2025, he's a pastor in Ekwa Church, and he was attacked and killed by people that were identified as Fulani herders, or rather terrorists. Pastor Musa, this was March 3rd, 2023. He and his 2 adult sons were shot dead by suspected Fulani militia men who invaded his residence in Plateau State. We also have Reverend Musa Mariami in March 23rd, 2023, a pastor of the Evangelical Church, who was also killed by people identified. He was killed in his home by people identified as Fulani men. His wife was also abducted. And there's a clergyman called Daniel Dambeki. In May 11, 2023, a pastor of the Ekwa Church, and his wife and 41 other people were killed by Fulani militiamen in an overnight attack on 2 predominantly Christian villages in Nasarawa State. I can go on and on and on, but I can't keep up because my heart is beginning to break. And it's quite unfortunate that you can make your own research. These numbers are out there. It's quite unfortunate that we have a media blackout on the the extent of what is happening in Nigeria. The terrorists are called bandits because we do not want to give them their real names. How dare you call somebody who goes to attack a village and sack a whole village and kill people in their hundreds? You're calling that person a bandit. How? I can't understand it. The Nigerian media, they are being gagged. They cannot tell you the numbers, the true situation of things. The NBC will fight. During Buhari, they were told not to give out the real numbers. And the NBC will fine you if you talk about it. So mindset, it's quite unfortunate, but I'm glad that at least, some people who are serious are beginning to take interest, because the Nigerian government, they are not interested in the citizens. That is why we are where we are. It is the failure of the government that we have terrorists locked in every corner of a country. Sometimes I just wonder, how is Nigeria even a country? How? How can you run a country with terrorists running amok at every corner? Your citizens are not safe even in their own homes. And you parade yourself as a governor, you parade yourself as a president, you parade yourself as whatever. It's quite a shame. And just the last thing I want to say is that most people that talk about this do not come out to say that Muslims are killing Christians. And I don't know why Muslim brothers want to push that narrative. People are saying that Christians are being killed in Nigeria, and nobody is saying that Muslims are killing Christians. But why you guys get triggered, or rather most of you get triggered when you hear that Christians are being killed? We're not going to stop talking about it because it gets you upset. That is the fact. Most people that are being killed are Christians. And it's up to you to talk about, if you have your own situations, but do not try to gag the Christians because you feel like when they say Christians are being killed, or then the people that are killing them are Muslims. But then, like most people have said here, if you analyze what's been happening, there's a video that was making around last week where a whole village was being sacked and people were running away, and the people that were chasing them were shouting Allah Akbar. It's Muslim that shout Allah Akbar, and we have so many instances like that. In Igbo land, they say that please, somebody should try to translate. I'm sorry about that. Thank you so much, everyone, and good evening, good morning again.
All right, thank you very much, Ms. Faith, for your wonderful submission. Now, the whole idea of this platform is just for us to establish the truth, right? And in establishing the truth, sometimes something that some of the speakers will say, might say, would trigger somebody. Do we have a problem of insecurity in Nigeria? Absolutely. Now, this is not the opposition or a pastor or an imam or any other person who is not part of this government that invited these two gentlemen that came to Nigeria. It was Reno Omokri, who I want to believe that the government is aware of what he did. He invited these guys for a fact-finding mission, right? To find out if indeed there is a genocide going on in Nigeria. Now, the persons that he invited have gone around, they've come up with their report, and they concluded that yes, there is a genocide going on in Nigeria. The thing here is how the government will react to this. And I want to say this publicly. The government don't have enough time. I know, we don't respect time. I mean, we use this thing African time, and I detest it. I dislike it, right? If you don't appreciate time, then there's nothing. I can't work with the person. This is, by the way. We don't have enough time. What needs to be done right now is, let's admit that we have a problem. We have some of our brothers and sisters in the IDP camp who have been displaced by these terrorists. And I like the word you use, terrorists, right? Now, what would the government do in the next coming days, in the next coming hours, to show that we have acknowledged that we have a problem here? If you go to Zamfara State, we have an IDP camp. If you go to FCT, we have an IDP camp. Go to Benue State, we have an IDP camp. Go to Plateau State, we have an IDP camp. Go to Borno State, we have an IDP. Something has to give in. The government needs to show that they are willing to bring these people back to their homes. You can't kick somebody out and somebody take over their property, their home for over 5 years. And we say it's fine. Everything is not fine. We will be lying to ourselves. Right? And if there's any way anybody can help, I mean, say something when you see something. These terrorists will come after each and every one of us. But if we are going to lie about what is going on in Nigeria, we are not going to make a move. Because our media has, for some reason, best known to them, decided to suppress the truth. The media have decided to suppress the truth. That's why I've encouraged everybody who is hosting spaces. These people come on spaces to listen. They take data from the spaces. They go back and they say, okay, this is what we hear. If I didn't tell you guys that we have somebody who is interested in this in being streamed, you wouldn't know. But it will not be fair. It will not be fair on each and every one of you to hear tomorrow there was a space that, perhaps your name might be mentioned, but I didn't know that was going to happen. I owe you that, I owe it to you to be honest about it. Right? So as we round up quickly, let's quickly hear from Mr. Young. Please hold your thought for a minute. I will come back to you. Dapel, I can see. Oh, Dapel, you wanted to speak earlier on, right?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Haruna questions. So initially he's saying he's misunderstood, that he's not talking that there are no killings. So I want to ask him this question, and I appreciate his honest response. So this bill that is to be passed is targeted at 1, 2, 3, 4 things. Let me just read them. It said to impose targeted sanctions against Nigerian officials who facilitate violence and underline facilitate violence. And he has confessed that he has escaped kidnapping many times against Christians and other religious minorities, including by Islamic terrorist groups. Impose targeted sanctions against Nigerian officials who enforce Sharia and blasphemy laws. Require Secretary of State to designate Nigeria as a country of particular concern. Require the Secretary of State to ensure that Boko Haram and ISIS remain designated as entities of particular concern. The 2 questions I have for you is that, number 1, do you believe that this bill will help reduce the level of insecurity in Nigeria, to which you too, who you were, there was an attempt to kidnap you, will benefit from? Do you believe that this will reduce violence in Nigeria? And second, do you support this bill that, based on what is read here, is gonna deal with those that are behind this violence, religious kidnapping? Because the report outlined several dimensions of insecurity in Nigeria. So these are my 2 questions. Do you believe this will reduce the level of violence in Nigeria? And are you in support of this bill to end violence in Nigeria? Thank you.
Myself, can I answer him?
So sorry, I missed one question. So is your problem with the bill or how the bill is named? That's the 3rd question. Sorry, thanks.
Well, Dapel, you have the background of media, and with your background, you know that we have any other law to deal with whatever problem we have in Nigeria. There's no law in Nigeria that segregates from killings. Now, typical example, Dapel, an army officer was arrested shipping arms from Kaduna 1 division to Niger Delta. Today, that guy is pardoned. And those arms are shipped to the militants who were used to kill people within the Niger Delta region. So where is the balance of justice in this system? There's no way any sane human being will support anybody to kill anybody and he walk out free of judgment. As me, Haruna, I'm concerned, for any bandit terrorist that is arrested, killing anybody in whatever guise, if it will be to me, there's no point of, okay, you are talking of human right. What of the right of the victim? What of the right of the victim that was killed? Where your right stops, that's where somebody's right takes. If all these people were arrested today and we see them lined up and killed, it will set deterrent to other people. But you have people arrested, enmeshed in gun running, enmeshed in killings. Today they are walking free. So what are we talking about, that bell? How can any sensible man support a bandit, a terrorist that was arrested, killed to walk free? And as far as I'm concerned, he doesn't even need to go to court. But because everything has pointed, he has committed the crime. So what are you waiting for? Waste taxpayers' money for nothing? That is the reality. But we are, how many bandits have been seen arrested, paraded, and tomorrow they are recaptured again in another place? How many? You see, we all have our various informations that mindset saying that we shouldn't. But there are even officers that have been court-martialed because of they couldn't take it. They couldn't take this thing. I know of an officer from Cross River, he had to hang himself when he was court-martialed. And everybody that knows he's from Meduguri court-martialed him in Kaduna in one day. A major. So what are we saying? The truth is the truth. Like I've said earlier, if you've listened to me, I said an eye for an eye, Moses law. Anybody that kills it should be eliminated. I have never condoned anything to say you negotiate. How can you negotiate? Somebody killed 200 people. Today you are negotiating for him to walk. What of the right of those people that he has killed? What of the right of the victims? Their relatives? And so on and so forth. Just take Mariam Sanders case, for example. Now look at how it's been dramatized. This person is saying no, they did not agree. The other person is saying no because people are alleging he has been tipped. Is it the kind of justice we're supposed to want? Justice for the highest bidder? Is that the country we want to live? That is why I'm telling you that these problems are in layers. Not until we are ready to address the problem, go. Nobody, no criminal, no terrorist should be bothered. If you will kill, you are supposed to be killed. I yield.
All right, thank you very much, guys. It's actually 12:40, so whoever is speaking, be very mindful of time. I can be able to carry everybody along. Mr. Nka, please go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. I appreciate every one of you. What we are doing here is very, very interesting. I don't want to take too much time. I was a victim of religious attack myself. I am a pastor. So we went for a program in Jos, in the city of Jos. On our way back, we were with a bus written a church name. This is a church bus written a church name. People were aware that this is a church bus. So the people in the bus requested that the driver should park at the market so they can pick one little thing before going. We are heading to we are heading to different places down the north. Anyway, the same north. Some were going to Kogi, some going to Abuja, but that bus was actually from Kogi State. The church that owned that bus is in Kogi. So the boss now helped some of us going to different places around the houses. So when they parked, all of a sudden we just moved, got to somewhere. The driver said, "Let me urinate," and then parked, came back, came down. The next thing we had was, thank God all of us were in the vehicle. Some group of people rushed after us, some group of men. So the driver quickly jumped inside the bus, started the vehicle, and ran. But before he could start the vehicle, they were already around the bus. So what we had was, they started hitting the tires. They succeeded in hitting, as the driver was moving, the two back tires. So the driver ran. He got to somewhere that he felt a bit safe. He parked, he went to inspect those two tires. Then he continued. You know what happened along the way? We didn't know what they did to the tires. But that bus, the two tires busted as we were going. The bus flew up. Then we are now approaching Kefi. Somersaulted 4 times and landed. 2 pastors were confirmed dead in that scene. Some, the glass cut their necks. There was one elder, the thing cut his ankle. His feet were just dangling like slippers. The driver died in the hospital. A child died somewhere in coma. I came out of that vehicle I came out from the window of that bus. You see, the casualty that came from that vehicle and the loss we had as Christians, that thing affected so many people, because I met one policeman. I was not telling him that in Abuja, and the man said that in that bus, that his pastor died in that vehicle. He asked me, "Were you in that bus?" I said, "Yes." You cannot remove this from religious discrimination and attack, particularly on Christians. There's no need to shy away from the truth. You know, the Sister Nkechi that spoke made a proverb in Igbo. That proverb, she was asking for someone to interpret it. That proverb says, if an arrow is shot and it lands on the log of a wood at the first time, and it was shot the second time, it lands at the log of a wood, or on the log of a wood rather, then the third one again lands on the log of the wood, one would ask, those arrows, were they meant for the log of the wood? That is an Igbo proverb. When something repeats itself over and over again, it points to a particular direction, that some people are being targeted. The people that are targeting those people, who are there? There's no doubt that those people that attacked that vehicle were not hoodlums. No, they were Muslims. They were people that saw that this vehicle is a Christian vehicle carrying a Christian name on it, and they decided to eliminate everybody in that vehicle. Since they couldn't succeed, they damaged the tires of that vehicle, and that led to still the death, the matter of ministers in that vehicle and some elders, because that vehicle was filled with ministers, pastors. And you know, to kill one pastor, why the life of everybody is very important. Just think of when you kill one general, you know the meaning. Let us not dangle around this matter. We should face this matter and resolve it before it will consume all of us. People that are, when they talk of Christian genocide, they start resisting Are they not seeing what is happening? Are they not seeing people killing people? Are they not seeing people dying? Are they not getting the reports? Are they not hearing it? Leah Sharibu, it is in this country we heard that they were kidnapped. The rest were released because they were Muslims. Some Christians, deny Christ there, and they released them. And she was held and still being held because she's a Christian. What do you say about that? I want to stop here. But what I want to say is that we should help one another. Let me say this before I round up. For those of us that are fighting, trying to block the fact that there is an investigation that they are massacring Christians here, they're opposing Christians. There's one man in my village. He used to, he believe in tradition, and he used to fight Christians, pastors. Someone one day called him and told him that this thing is doing, God will plant a real Christian in his house. That if he doesn't take time, it will consume him. It was like a joke. His first son got converted and is a pastor in deeper life. An Igbo man, he married a Yoruba lady, Yoruba sister. The man's case became complicated. Today, he is seeing that right in his house. For those that are attacking Christians, I believe that God Almighty is alive. God will plant those Christians in their homes, and they will come face to face with.
All right, it appears we've lost Mr. Nka. Can anybody hear him? Is it from my end? Hello?
Hello? Hello?
All right, we lost you for a minute, so we should. Oh.
Hello?
All right, so Mr. Nka, your line.
Okay. Okay, my network is breaking.
All right, then. So let's quickly. All right. Thank you very much for your wonderful submission, and thank you for making time coming on this platform. Please, if you serve to do so, I've been asked to ask you what year did this happen? The the incident that you mentioned. If you can quickly just tell, if you want to, you don't have to, but do you want to tell us what year this happened?
Are you hearing me now?
Yes, I can hear you. If you can quickly, please.
This thing happened. I won't be precise now because I have to check my data to get the exact.
No, not year, not month, year.
Even the year, that thing should be close to 8 years now. Should be about 8 years now. But maybe in the course of our discussion, I'm going to get you the exact time. I mean the exact date and the year, but it's about 8 years now.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
All right.
Okay, guys, we should be rounding up in the next 10 minutes, right? So it's been a very interesting conversation, and I'm just going to quickly allow those who raise their hand just to quickly round up in a minute. Mr. Aboudrahim, you raise your hand quickly in a minute, please.
Thank you very much, Mansur. So I don't want us to forget the role of the previous government in all of this. The previous government pardoned terrorists. It funded them. It gave them support. These terrorists were brought back into our system. These are treasoners. So I don't want us to forget that there was a very huge leadership gap in this country. President Muhammad Buhari was so against Yaradua. In fact, he's not alone, including Isa Ali Pantami. They were so against late Umar Musa Adua when he granted amnesty to the Niger Delta militants. They kind of felt like it was a bit unfair, and then they used such an ideology. I don't know if it was a misunderstanding of what the Niger Deltans were actually fighting for, or they took it as an injustice to the north. I don't really know, but they used that same ideology to grant Boko Haram bandits amnesty. They gave them monthly allowances. They brought them back into the military, and today we are suffering. We are suffering for these consequences, and I just don't want us to forget that there is and there was and there still is a huge leadership gap, and we are facing the consequences.
All right, thank you very much. Haruna, please, in a minute, go ahead, sir. Haruna, you raised your hand.
Yeah, mine. I've even got lost now. We're trying to get back to you, but all I will say is that we should see this problem as our problem. Nobody is supporting that people are not being killed. People are being killed from the both sides. Somebody is saying I should mention one scholar. I will just remember one or two. Sheikh Jafar is there. His body was riddled with bullets. Sheikh Albani, the same thing. Emir of Kano, the same thing. And I can go and on. Goni was killed in Maiduguri. Yobi on his way back to his family. A lot of scholars, and we've seen a lot of scholars come out that I have even carrying arms saying, if students want to come and attack them, let them come. They are ready to stay in there. And no any reasonable person will keep on or support this idiocy going on in this country. Nobody in his own senses. And may Allah heal us. May Allah heal
Okay,
the
thank
land.
you very much, Haruna. Okay, have you finished with your submission so I can pass the mic?
Sure, do mindset.
Thank you very much. Mr. Yusuf, please, you go ahead. You have a minute.
Okay, yeah. So why I raised my hand was earlier on because of we keep making reference to we need to dig it to the root and then we find the problem. You see, the only part of the country, as far as terrorism is concerned, where it looks as if there is a collective attitude of friendliness to the terrorist is only in the northern region. It's only in the north you find 100, 200 of them on bikes after raping women, after killing people, after sacking communities. They come into the same communities, they sit down, they do what they call peace talks, and they go back to wherever they are coming from. You don't find the Air Force doing a massacre and all of that. At a point in time, the Air Force employed the few times the Air Force used air power to kill terrorists. Each time you would find northern politicians saying they attacked civilian targets. So, and the people brokering these peace deals are Islamic clerics, are politicians, and the traditional rulers. Because we can't deal with a problem if we want to be politically correct. These are the people brokering the peace. So how do you make peace with such people unless you want to legitimize Islamism, what they are doing? In other words, you get to a point where it almost becomes normal, something similar to what the Taliban did in Afghanistan. So once that is happening, once they have a welcome in the community, it is impossible to deal with them. If the military, for instance, like the ones I think a couple of days ago went to a community, over 200, 300 of them on bikes, that they went for peace talks. If there was a bomb dropped there, somebody would have come out, either one big northern monarch or governors gathering in one place and telling you that they attacked innocent people. So it makes the fight, the attitude of a lot of northern Muslims, especially in terms of the ranks of their elite, towards the issue of terrorism has made it impossible to fight terrorism. And we have to face that if we need to deal with it from the root. Otherwise, we will just keep playing political correctness.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Yusuf. Haruna, you raised your hand again. What is it regarding, sir?
Mindset, let me just let it slide.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, guys, I must thank every one of you who has contributed to these wonderful spaces this evening or this morning. It's been one of a kind, and the whole idea of having spaces is just to find solutions. Sometimes what the speaker said and what the people, those who are listening, have listened to, sometimes we don't feel comfortable about these things. For me, it's all about how to make sure that this great country move forward. Now, I've seen people saying that a bit of conspiracy theories about this thing. The man that came to Nigeria, or the two men that came to Nigeria, they were invited by the government. They were invited by Reno Omokri. All right. I don't know Mike Arnold from anywhere. I've only studied about him. The moment I heard that he's coming to Nigeria, I did sorry, not study. I apologize. I did a research on him and I followed whatever they did with Reno Omokri. My thing here is that the Nigerian government should sit up and face this thing squarely. We can't be losing Nigerians both from the north, south, east, and west, and every part of Nigeria. We must make sure that everyone is secured, right? They have made their reports. It's most likely that the bill will pass. And if the government will work hard more than they have done in the last couple of months or last couple of weeks by turning this thing into a jamboree whereby it's all about name callings. When it comes to diplomatic things as sensitive as genocide, you don't play you don't do name callings with it. If you go and read the article written by Ebenezer, you will see that they made reference to some of the things that the likes of Bayo Nonoga said, and the likes of Benjamin Kano and the rest of them said, and they felt that these guys were not taking this thing seriously, right? Now you have an issue like this. You're saying you're going to take for 28 days to call for a committee. Who does that? Who does that? This bill was introduced on the 9th of on the 9th of September, and it took the Nigerian Senate 1 month to start discussing it. The moment you heard about this bill, the first thing you should do is reach out and say, okay, we believe in this, we don't believe in this, we're going to get back to you in the next couple of weeks and everything. Get the ball rolling and show that you're willing to stop the killings, both in Zamfara State, Katsina State, Benue State, Imo State, whatever state in Nigeria. But the government have not done that. They have handled this thing the wrong way. And I hope they find a way to stop it, because if this bill was to go through, the sanctions will be there, right? And Nigeria will be known as a country of a particular concern, which is not a good thing for us as a country. And it might not have an impact in 2027 election. I like to be very frank, and when it comes to politics, I don't do emotional thing. So that is the danger here. For those in government, it might affect them in 2027. But those in the opposition, it might be something that will work for them. But for us as Nigerians, what we are hoping for is that everyone in the IDP camps should go back to their various villages and homes. We shouldn't be having people in IDP camps. And those who have taken over their communities should be kicked out. Let's start from that. Let's go to Benue State, let's go to Plateau State and start getting rid of these criminals, terrorists who have taken over some people's villages. And we fold our hands. I think that's what will be a start. So on that note, I want to thank each and every one of you who have joined the platform. As I said earlier on, this platform is being streamed. I want everybody, so if you read about your name or anything to do with this platform somewhere, and in any article, don't hold me responsible. But I must thank you guys for making it a wonderful space tonight. And for those who were not able to contribute, unfortunately, I did my best, but my best wasn't enough. So I wish you guys well, and I'll see you some other time.
La 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 la.